know why, but yeah.
Okay, because like honestly, the show's been this way now for over a year, right? Ever since I've gone to Twitch, this is what I've done. Yeah, people may come, people might not.
We're streaming on Twitch right now.
Yeah, on Twitch. Yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay.
We're streaming on Twitch.
Okay.
So let me explain how this works. It streams on Twitch. It becomes an audio, and then from an audio, it will eventually end up on YouTube. In that order. Okay. So you will be famous forever and ever and ever and stuff like that. So
it's all good.
Yeah, okay.
A little less nervous than I used to be since I started podcasting, but I'm just like I think it's just because I'm discombobulated because we had the hour difference in when we'd be starting. So
oh, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, deep breaths. Kumbaya. It happens. I've made. It's okay. I've made plenty of mistakes. It's possibly this is on me. But that's what I was just looking at my schedule, and like so. Let's see. Let's figure this out. So I thought I was going to head back to Calgary. That was the initial plan. The first person I was going to live with, she. Too many red flags. We'll just leave it at that. There's too many red flags. There's just not enough. There were concerns I had with her and still do. So, I do respect her as a friend. There are concerns there. Okay. So I was going to end up being a roommate to another place. But before I was going to do that, I was going to come see a friend in Canmore. First time seeing her in a couple of years. Let's hang out. So, anyway. That place I was supposed to check out, we never could meet to check out the place. So that fell through too. So I'm like, somehow I'm in Canmore. Okay. And I just kind of went with it. I mean, the impression I've gotten, and this is kind of one of those real things, is that I've always felt that I was supposed to come back out here and help people with certain things in this time. I have a very unique perspective on death and fear. And I think, especially in the next year, as certain things, I think the paradigm is going to shift. And when it does, a lot of people are going to be scared out of their gourd again. And when that happens, I think, someone like me is actually very useful to help people deal with those kind of changes and adjustments. So that was why I thinking why I was going to come back out here. But I mean, it's kind of worked out. I mean, I'm currently doing, I do this show, my show still, but now I work for other people and do shows for them too. So, I mean, that had to evolve. I'm looking for a couple more clients. To get a couple more clients, I'm officially a full-time freelance. Don't have to do work for anybody ever again. And I feel I'm close to that. So that's going well. I've released books in this time. Right, I released books in this time, yep. So it's one of those little deals. I've just as life has evolved, I've just been rolling with the punches, and that's kind of what I've been doing. And again, unlike most people, nothing in this time has scared me, terrified me, any of that stuff. I'm just like shrug, and I've moved on, and just because if you've been in situations in your life where you've already have experienced grief, death, sickness, this time can't really scare you. You've been there. You know what this is like. It's the same. It's a bigger thing, right? And that's pretty much what I've that's been kind of my thing. So watching people lose their minds has been, from my outside looking in, a very different perspective. It's like, is this your first time? You know what I mean? So maybe I'm an insensitive asshole, but that's just kind of how I see it. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it.
Well, you've definitely been through hell, figuratively, almost literally. It feels like, from what I know of yours, I can see. I always appreciate your perspective and your positivity and everything. Of course, I do have a little bit of grace for people, but I also am frustrated. I have a grace just because I've been surprised how much it's affected me, considering how much loss I've previously experienced. But I think it's because my personality, I feel the weight of how other people are grieving this time. And it's like, it really bothers me to see vision and that's happening around us instead of what is should. I mean, it's not that people are acting the way they are, because people be people, you know, and they're doing what people do in any time there is a scene like this. But I wish that there'd been a little bit more of that. We're all in this together for real, for longer.
But see, here's the thing. Like this is what this was. This wasn't a weird. This was a bizarre form of torture. Is what this was. We'd lock down, then come back. Then we lock down again, come back. We'd lock down again, come back. In Windsor, I couldn't buy underwear at a physical store for 4 months. That was awkward, let me tell you. Right? No, I'm not joking. It's the truth. Like we have. So what has happened? What has happened is you go through this for a lot of people. I moved around a lot too, so I have change. I know how to kind of roll with it. I don't have that desperate. Okay, so I mean, this sucks. I might say this sucks, or this is great, but I'm like, okay, what do we do now? It's kind of just that's my mentality. So all of which to say that so most people though, when they're going through this much change back and forth, it's almost like the rug gets pulled out from under you, the dangling carrot gets led in front of you, and you'll do anything to get back to whatever that normal was. So that's kind of what's happened to people, is they will do whatever it takes to come back, even though the more we go down this road, the less likely we will ever get back to normal, the way it was, right? And that's just the way it is. It's how I see it, right? People don't look at that. People are just looking for anything to make this go away, and that's the thing. It can't go away. You got to kind of come to terms with the fact that we're going to be dealing with something in this regard for the foreseeable future, on some level or another. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Denial is one of the stages of grief. So
yes.
You know, I mean, not everybody's not stuck in it, but a lot of people definitely are, for sure.
Yeah.
So it will come around. I remember one of the more profound things that my grief counselor told me after my son died was that when we experience trauma, the human brain, like, it's the healing response is to actually make that trauma normal to us. And so, like people are doing, and you're right, they will do anything. And I've definitely been there. Like, you know what, when you're feeling so bad all the time, you will do just about anything to not feel bad for a little time. So, but eventually you do get to the point where you're through that, and you can start to see how you can make it. And that's where the new normal is actually going to be, is for us to figuring out how to move forward through this. So I have hope for humanity. That's the way I am. But humans.
I just recognize something just very, like, my own take on this is not exactly. I would say I have faith that people are going to go into like 3 camps, is what I figure. Some people are going to trust authority no matter what is said, no matter what is done. They're just going to trust. It's just the way it is, right? No ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts. Some people like me learn not to trust authority with the same fervor, same zeal, same zest, and will be looking for their own answers. It's column 2. Column 3 is going to be somewhere between those extremes, right? Which might be the wisest of those paths, but I've been, like, even prior to this, I was what I called myself a political atheist. I had no faith in any of them. And I feel like I have been justified in my lack of faith, right? When it comes to our political leaders. I feel I've been justified well beyond my wildest dreams. And that's unfortunate. Like, but that's just that's how I see it. Well, it's just like I have no faith in my leadership to change things. I have none. I'm being very blunt about that. I have none. Right? So that might not feel right to some people. Some people say, no, I don't necessarily look at authority as having for sure answers, because again, especially in a world where our leaders are chosen by a popularity contest, I'm not necessarily sure that doing the right thing is going to fit that little narrative of the popularity contest, especially since, by and large, nobody knows what they're doing. So whatever the prevailing belief of the moment is, that is what we're going to do. Now, whether it is right or wrong does not matter, right? This is what I've learned in this time. Like, it's that sense of order and continuity. This is what Canadians in particular like, but that's not always the correct answer. Sometimes you have to look for a different answer instead of just going with the established order. Sometimes. And this, I feel, is, especially, again, looking what's going on abroad, who's farther along this program than we are, I cannot, again, us doing what everybody else is doing doesn't seem like the correct course of action to me. Now, I might be a little wrong on my thinking, but that's how I see it. I can look around and say, this shit ain't going to work. And that's what I think, because I already have other examples to go by. They've been around a while. But again, it's like no one wants to look. It's like, I see no evil. I hear no evil. I'm just going to do it. It's like, and that's, again, because it's orderly. It's not necessarily right. And that's something I've observed in this time. Again, column A, column B, column C. Eventually what happens is, once people start noticing, hey, this shit ain't working, and everybody comes to that point, at whatever point they're going to come, then they're going to start looking for their own answers. Because that also is human nature.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is too big of a topic to really do well here. I don't know.
We'll move past. We'll move past it. I mean, this is just one of those, like again, just me personally. That's kind of how.
No,
again,
I like your observations.
Yeah, so it's like this is what I've seen in this time. So I have made my own decisions. I've been open about them. Right. No one bothers me anymore because, again, I have my own answers and I back them up, and people get really nervous when I back up what I say. So I've moved on. I'm worried about other stuff. If someone wants to make a case with me, I'm always available. I just hope, it's original. That's kind of what I hope. But I digress. How you been? Besides all the crazy, how have you been?
For the most part, I'm actually really doing well. I actually did a lot. I burnt out pretty bad about a year ago. And so 2021 was a year of recovery for me. And actually, the Christmas holidays, I started to really feel like I was getting back to my old self. So now I just have to be careful because I'm such an achiever and, like to really make my schedule full, just that I don't overdo it and go back there. So that's what I need to be careful with this year. But yeah, I started a podcast a few weeks, like at the beginning of the year. And so I'm excited about that. And I'm working on a new series. It's a sweet romance series. I'm taking a little break from epic fantasy for a while. And yeah, things are going well for the most part.
So okay, let's talk like the big epic fantasy thing. So I really like your big epic fantasy thing. So am I going to wait in years for the conclusion? Are you going to be like, I'm going to hold it for years now. I'm going to hold it over a dangling little kid.
Yes and no. There probably would have been years anyway. Okay, so like the first book was 162,000 words, and it took me 2 years to write once I actually started writing it. And of course, I'd been percolating and researching on that for almost 10 years before that. So, that one took the longest, I would say. then the next one turned out to be 305,000 words, and it took me 2 years to write. And it was, and of course, most of that was during the pandemic. It was during burnout. It was during a lot of things that were just stressful in my life. My mom it was crazy times. So anyway, I figured that was kind of like a pretty amazing feat that I managed to even pull that off in 2 years, considering that that's about, like 3 to 6 other novels worth into there. I'm like, okay, that was
at
pretty
least
good.
5.
I just felt like most of 2021, at least, yeah, it depends out, right? But when I got to the end of that, I felt like I was just like crawling, like Samwise and Frodo through Mordor, and like they're just like barely.
Oh no. We lost
making it up the mountain. That was my novel. I was just like, I will finish.
Hey, I heard end of second novel, and then you cut out, and then you disappear. It's all good. Live TV. This is how this works. We're live, pal. It's all good.
That's what happens when we're working on my.
No. There he goes again.
My phone data. Anyway, so.
Okay, so we might have to make this one a little shorter than normal, but that's all right.
Okay.
No, let's. So
okay,
it sounds like.
Yeah, for my mental health, I needed a break. I needed a break story because it's deep, requires a lot of research, requires a lot of thinking because it's so complicated, so many moving parts with that. And yeah, so I'm taking a year off of it, and I'm actually. Are you there?
I'm there,
Josh.
I'm
like checking my phone to make sure that the device hasn't like.
Okay. So let's see if I got this.
Sorry about. I don't know how much you heard, but I'm working on romance.
You're gonna have fun. You decide I'm gonna have some fun this year. Damn it! Did you hear that? Yeah. So it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So you're taking a break. You're gonna have some fun and somewhere. Okay. Loud and clear. Okay. Excellent. All right. So what I get the feeling then is you decided that this is your monster. Do you got one? Is it one more, or do you got more than one more on? This is the last epic fantasy question. Do you have more than one more after this one?
I'm not quite sure yet.
I was
going to be able to make it into 5, but I think I just crammed some of that second one. I think I could make it into big monster and call her good.
It's like, I'm done. I will never do this again. I swear, until the next idea comes into your head, and you'll be like, why? But I will let you know. I will let you know.
I do plan to write more.
Oh yeah. No, I figured. I mean, you can't stop once you get really rolling.
I
think.
Hear you.
No. I know you can hear me. I again cut out. Like I said, this is the limitations of technology sometimes being what it is. But what I was gonna say here is, I I left you a really nice review on your BookBub. So I left it on Undine's Tier, and I'm recommending that for anybody that's watching, listening. You know, if you go check out Talena's books, Undine's Tier is a really, really cool start of the fantasy series. Right? No pressure, just it's really good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, fortunately, so far, people also seem to be liking the second one, possibly even better than the first one. So I guess it was worth that crawl through Mordor. I don't know.
Yeah, people like it. Well, actually, here's an interesting one. When it's over, when you write something like this, right? Do you like it? Like when you go through all, I mean, because it is a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you still like it at the end when you've gone through it? The amount of times you probably had to go through it.
Yes, I do. I don't know if the musical 9, but it's about like an Italian movie director, and there's a quote from that where he talks about how these different stages of that a project goes through, and I don't remember because it's been years since I've seen this musical, but basically he talks about like how you kill a movie like 3 times or something like that, you know. So basically you go through all these stages where you love it, and then you hate it, and then you love it, and then you hate it, and then you love it. And so yes, by the end I'm usually back to loving it, but there's definitely some dicey things in the relationship up to that point.
There were some fights. There's some falling down the stairs between you and the book.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was you going down the stairs. Sometimes it was the book. It's like,
That's right.
That's right. Authors and their abusive relation. I haven't read anything that big yet. My next work is something I'm actually both writing and currently am drawing.
Oh, so. Yes. That's awesome. So you're doing your own art this time. That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you do it for the last one too?
No, the last one. No, Kenzie killed it. Kenzie killed it.
Oh, okay.
I was really, really, really like impressed with the so my Wonderland artist, she basically found me and basically made me hire her, and it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever done. She's really great. Like, she's really, really great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really, really good. I had the opportunity. To you know, it's I've been very fortunate. I've got to do some really fun things. This particular book, I'm the best artist for it, not because I'm the most technically skilled, but because of the nature of the story itself. It works that I'm drawing it. I don't know if I draw another one. I probably do somewhere down the road again, right? But the next, because the book after, it's a Russian fairy tale / twisted version of the Knights of the Round. It's a lot of fun, and that one's getting some art from somebody else. And yeah, no, we came up with something really cool, and like she's gonna start seeing material for the book next month. We formally talk in March, but informally she'll be reading my stuff for while I'm drawing the next book too. Yeah. That's awesome. That's gonna be closer to a proper novel. But like I said, and then I go back to Wonderland again later this year, and then because I got 2 more of those to write, and then I finally go back to my Cloud Diver series, and so yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Oh wow. So cool. So Wonderland is basically graphic novels, right?
It's like the epic poetry stuff I've done in the past. I was asked to do a Lewis Carroll poem for an anthology. That's why Alice Zero came out. It was good. Didn't make the final cut to the anthology, but it was good enough to be nominated for an award. When it came out as a chapbook, so it was good. So Alice 1, the one I just released in December, is the first full book, which is my biggest poem to date. It's like a 200-page poem. So it's not small by any stretch of the imagination. So surprisingly fun. Alice and poetry work together surprisingly well. So.
Okay.
and she is catching up, or something. But yeah, so that's kind of how
I think
it's
I'm
going.
catching up.
Yes.
Oh.
So.
Fun. For
Awkward technology moments,
which is obvious right now. And I have wireless internet, and the tower half a mile away. And a couple years ago, we got a ton of rain, and there's a bunch of trees between, and they grew. And so now every time it's windy, it cuts off our internet in and out all day. It's super frustrating. We're waiting for Stargate for it to come.
Waiting for Starlink so we can have regular internet again. Especially if you're streaming stuff, that would be a nightmare. It's like, oh crap. The big reveal happens right there. It's like, yes! And then all of a sudden just goes dead. Drops right. It's like, no.
That actually happened recently.
What were you watching? Sorry, you cut out.
I think I lost you, but yeah, we were watching stuff again, and it literally off like right in the big climax, and we're like, no. So and then we had to wait.
Yeah, no, I got it. No. So back in my day, and then people might remember this. Back in my day, we had like the old rabbit ear television, right? My grandmother in Detroit still has a black and white television from like the 50s, 60s, 70s. It still works.
Wow.
It still works. But they can only get like 2 channels now. They can only get like 2 channels now because the technology's evolved. Right. But they're watching it in that old style with the old rabbit ears, and you got to adjust. And it's one of those like, man, people did stuff for their entertainment back in the day. So now this is your rabbit ear moment. This is your rabbit ear moment. Yep. This is your like, good damn, move it over somewhere. There it is. And you missed the climax. Like,
that's right. If only just like whacking it a few times would actually do that. That would be great.
You can't do that with these TVs today. That's the problem. You can't beat them up because they're so fragile, right?
Right.
I used to, they're just fragile. I mean, I remember when I was working at Pure Later, I would lift these damn things all the time. I'm like, they're kind of thin, right? They're really thin. I'm like, they're powerful, but they're thin. And I was saying to myself, back in the day, I used to just hit the damn thing, like the big. My favorite was the fist of fate, like thwack, right? It's like it would come right back, right? That's right. People listening to this are going, "What the hell?" It's like, yes, we were violent to our toys. Okay, we really were. We had problems. But this, you can't even do that. You go whack. You go whack. Done, right? It just will not. It did.
Yeah.
I broke something, and it won't play anymore. and I'm not rich enough yet. I'm not rich enough yet when I can break my shit, throw it out the window. Because say what you will, that does feel therapeutic. It really does. If it's really, really terrible, right? Yes, I'm a violent savage, folks. I fully acknowledge this, right? But see, I can't afford to do that. That's why I don't have one of those TVs yet, because I can't afford to break it. And then I know I get frustrated and want to break the damn thing. And they're not cheap, right? They're big. They're a giant $500 piece of junk, right? Or $250. Like, they've gotten cheaper. But they're still expensive. They're expensive enough that's like I can't replace it tomorrow if I break it. So it's like, God damn, I'm stuck with this thing. Right. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Be nice to your Tosh. Be nice.
Sometimes. Do I have to? Do I really have to?
It's your choice. You're an adult.
It's my toys. It's my toys. I can break them if I want. I don't know.
That's right.
Yes, folks. Folks, I genuinely have said this before. I have issues. I'm good with my issues. I've made peace with them. It's all good. But anyways. So, yes, small town.
You're good issues. Man, that's a great
place
to be.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be. Look, at some point, look, you have to come to like this realization. Okay. This is the realization I came to. It's almost like I'm going to an AA meeting. Hi, I'm Josh. I'm a fuck up. All right, and I do my own, and I make lots of stupid mistakes all the time. I can be mad at myself for the mistakes I made, and sometimes I am. Like sometimes I really screw up, and I feel really bad about that. But for the most part, I can look at myself honestly and say to myself, you know what? Meh. It's okay. These imperfections I have, these things I struggle with, they help make me who I am. So I can be really angry at myself for having these flaws, or I can look at them as both what they are, which is the weaknesses I have and my strengths. My strengths come from my weaknesses, right? They're intertwined. So now I can try to improve slightly. I can try to better myself, and I try, and for the most part. But when you get right down to it, I like what I see when I look in the mirror, and and that means that sometimes, like I have issues. Like I like breaking my toys, right? I have a problem. You get frustrated, right? And it's okay, right? I like breaking my toys, right? That's it, right? You make peace with the parts of you, all the parts of yourself, the good and the bad. And if you can do that, you're in a good place. Mm-hmm. No matter what, you're always going to be in a good place. You're going to be like, you know what? I'm good. I have a peace. Peace is good.
Peace is awesome. Yep. I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. So what have you been doing besides podcasting these days?
I am filming a show for a company for Canadian immigration. I have started putting a massage therapy show. I have one. I occasionally take like walks in Canmore. I've read some books. Occasionally, I help other people with their stuff. My roommate, her friend came out here for a week, and her friend just needed someone to I was basically a mentor for about a week about podcasting, but also just her life stuff, right? Just some of the stuff she's dealing with some of her own issues, and I'm not going to go into detail because it's not my place, but like I said, I've just been quietly helping people who are just available that want to be helped. And that's all I've been doing. Beyond that, occasionally I play video games. That's it. I mean, it's nothing. I've kept it really simple in this time. Mm-hmm. I've kept it really simple. A date would be nice. That's basically the one thing I wish I like. That would be great. Little date, maybe some romance. That would be great. But besides that, I can't really complain. It's just one of those. Yeah. I can't really complain. I'm getting paid to talk. Who knew, Talena, that was the secret of my success? My obnoxious big mouth. Who knew it? Who knew?
I think you've been training your whole life for this. It's the perfect job for you.
Yes. That's right. I don't want to do real work, so this is what I do instead. Right. But it's just like I like the show has been steadily climbing in numbers. Now it's like I said, I've hit the point as a freelancer. I make 4 figures a month. It's not quite a living, but I've broken a decent plane, right? That's decent.
Yeah, that's
the next
awesome.
step now is so the next step for me is to hit where I really want to hit from an income standpoint. So that's a couple more shows, That's some more writing gigs. That's some more stuff. And that's basically what I'm looking to do. I am too old to work for people. I've gotten too old for that shit. So
I hear ya.
yes. It's like I hear you. It's just not worth it. Like it's not worth it in a long-term capacity at all. It's just not. You wake up one day and you realize, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Like, what the fuck am I doing coming here? And people are like, well, you're getting paid here. It's like, yes, there's got to be a better way. Because now I just feel like I feel like, and this isn't a knock. And I say this always with this stating this part. It's not that I think that people are necessary. There's nothing wrong with working for a company, but at some point, I mean, you can't get your time and energy back. You just can't. And you realize that, if I want to use that time and energy I do have for me, because that makes sense.
Yes. From my perspective, like I've been working for myself now for 24 years. Sometimes I think that an actual boss would be easier on me than my current boss.
Yes.
Working these 13-hour days and going, I think why I burned out. Like it just
no idea. None at all. None at all. But see.
Exactly.
But here's the thing about you. See, this is what would happen to you. If you had a boss, that boss would have to be extremely competent. And I mean extremely competent. Because here's why. You will never be able to look at a boss as a boss again, even if you tried. Right? Now, you will respect chain of command. I don't even know. If
my last job was
I do. I do. This is why I'm telling you this. This is what's happening.
Okay.
You're capable, intelligent, sharp, right, driven woman seeking like that knows what it takes to earn herself a living. So the person you have to work with, at minimum, right, has to have at least 3 of those qualifications. 3 of them, right, at minimum. If they don't, this is what will happen with you. This is what would happen with you. You would realize that you're better suited for the job than they are. And then at that point, you're going to ask yourself a really hard question. Can I respect this person? I don't think you can. I think what would happen is you would just walk away because you realize one of 2 things would happen. You would take over and make that person feel inadequate. Or, right, you and them would have a contest of wills, and they're employed, then they're higher up on the food chain. You'd have to prove they were really incompetent to get your way. So that's just would be frustrating, right? And so I think this is what would happen. You would just they would have to be incredibly capable, right? Or at least smart enough to realize you're capable for you to consider working for them. And if they don't have that, they expect to be like, I'm the boss, you're going to do what I say, and you're just going to be like this. And nah, this don't work for me, brother or sister. It's like, you're going to have to give me something like better than this. Because why am I doing this? That's right.
Never had
that's what I see. That. Yeah, no, that's what.
You make me sound a lot. You make me sound like I'm a lot harder to get along with than I think I am. Working with somebody like
no,
you're not collaborator.
No. It's not about getting along. See, it's the thing.
Okay.
Like you are no. It's not about getting along. You have to respect who you work for. That's not. I don't think that's a terrible thing in of itself, right? Here's the problem. No. If deep down on the inside, okay, you can, if someone knows what they're doing and they're competent at the job, you will respect them, and that's important for you because you got to have that respect. If they're like some of the bosses I've had historically, you wouldn't have the patience for it, because you'd recognize very quickly that your boss probably can't count to 10. And I'm sounding like an asshole here saying that, but anyone that has ever worked, there are bosses that you have kind of like you've dealt with that you question how they're standing upright, let alone doing the job, and why they're here. You just can't.
Bosses obviously don't listen to your podcast.
No. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't name who I think were those bosses, so they'll never, like, even though they do listen to the show, right? But the thing is, if people ask me what I thought of them as a manager, I will tell them, right? And right, the good, the bad, and honestly, straight up, I've had great bosses. When I was working at Purelator, I had great ones by and large, but there were a couple that I watched them work. And I'm like, I am so glad I do not work for you. I actually went out of the way not to work for you. Because that's just because I knew, like, I just didn't have the patience.
Yeah. To know your own boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
like that's
I think it's firmly established now that if you and I we go and get a job again, we need to get a job as the boss. I think that might be the solution.
Maybe. You put me in a position where I don't know what the heck I'm doing. That's the universe's function. Then some asshole. I'll work for a guy and I recognize, oh my god, he's me. Shit, right? And it's like, because that's how the universe would punish me. That's how the universe would punish me. It wouldn't. Someone capable in this particular field, and I'm the incompetent one, and it's like, yeah, that's it's like good one. It's like good one. It's like right. So because that's how the universe works. That's why. But that's it. Like, you just come to a point when you recognize that your time and energy is valuable, and because it's valuable, you don't want to waste it with people who don't appreciate it. That's what it ultimately comes down to, right? It's true with clients. It's true with clients. It's true with people like me. Right? You want people that respect your abilities, because if they don't respect your abilities, then they're not going to pay you or treat you the way you deserve. So I learned this. This was something I learned really early on in my freelance life. It's like, I have to charge a certain amount or I'm not going to get respected for my work. It's just how it goes.
Yep. Yeah. And I have like a little master group of friends who are like editors and writers, and I was telling them last meeting we had that's probably one of the things I struggle with most still. Like, I charge what I'm worth, but it feels high. Like, every time I send out an invoice, I'm like talking myself through it, and I'm like, okay, now figure this out. If this, it's like, if I don't charge this, I'm actually not making a living. But I don't know. It's difficult because so many people especially in the Facebook groups and stuff, author Facebook groups, they're like really proud when they're paying like pennies for editing, and look at those and I'm like, those editors aren't making a living on what you're paying, or they're not doing a good job, one or the other. So
it's just something I initially was going to do like an audiobook service, because again, I have a pretty good voice. I figured, why not try it? So one author, and I will never forget her for as long as I live, because this one always seems to, whenever I post something, if she vehemently disagrees, she causes a riot. Like, I just look at her, she's just one of those people that just knows how to stir stuff. So what she did was, she's like, I charge like, $250 per finished hour. That does, now, again, it sounds like a lot until people realize what per finished hour actually is, right?
Oh yeah, that's on the low end of the range for audiobook producers.
Oh no, it's reasonable. So she went to me Dwayne Johnson doesn't charge $250 an hour. She had no idea what per finished hour was. Right? She had no idea. And when I explained it to her, she's like, "Oh, I pay $200 for voices in my books." Like, okay, well then, good luck. So she's paying somebody $200. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So no, it's like again, I don't think she understood what the impression she left me when she did what she did, because now I won't look at any of her books. Not like any personal, like, I look at how she treats her people she works for. That tells me everything I need to know about her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it's so important to be professional in this industry. Like, and it's such a small industry. People talk, right? So, I mean, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the rant. Like, it's not. Oh man, that's something I hope you can hear me. It looks like you froze up.
All right, I can hear you. I'm listening to you right now.
Okay. So, man, I mean, I've been working on the internet for a long time, and I remember that early on when I was blogging, I started blogging in 2006, and back then, my dad actually would read my blog once in a while, and there was this one day I put up, and at the time, like, stuff that happened in my life. I was not aspiring anything, and I blogged this one day about this person. Car horn had gone off early in the morning, first thing, like at 6 a.m. And I was a young mom. Sleep was precious. I was not happy. And so I ranted about it on my blog. And my dad actually just had some wise words. He's like, people don't come to your blog to read that. They don't come there to read you complain. And I think that people tend to forget Facebook. Now there's all these different social media platforms, and people just use it as their dumping ground. While I understand that there's a certain amount of support and therapy that can go into that, when you have, especially when you're a brand on the internet, it's so important to always be professional. Even last week, frustrated, I was trying to price out the cost of shipping books across Canada. And it was literally like 2.5 times as much to ship a book from here, Northern Alberta, to Nova Scotia, as it was to ship it to France. And I was just so frustrated. I almost went to Facebook and I was just like, why is Canada Post so expensive? I'm just like, no one wants that. So I just took a breath. Like, it's not going to change. It's like this forever. And I actually know why it is so expensive to ship with. Doesn't make me get, but I understand it. And then, you just walk it off. Like,
I've made this
off.
I've made this mistake on my own. Like, I've done this. I've learned that lesson the hard way, and I'll be the first to admit it. It doesn't happen overnight. Like, sometimes you just recognize, like, okay, I can't call this person if I can't say it so overtly that I'm like, this terrible. Oh, there she goes.
Okay.
There you go. Welcome back.
I'm back.
So,
okay.
Yeah, right.
So I heard you say you've learned the lesson the hard way.
Yeah. So I'll repeat this. I learned the lesson the hard way. I've made some mistakes in the past I probably shouldn't have done. At the same time. So I've learned 3 very valuable lessons. These are the 3 I've learned. The first is, right, always try to be nice, even to people you don't like. And here's why. This is going to sound, I learned this from one of my bosses. I worked at the gas station. He was really good at giving references, like fantastic ones. And he actually told me straight up why. He goes, here's the thing. If I leave a bad reference, I'm stuck with you. Right? Right? It's such a profound lesson. Right?
Wow.
Right? It's a profound lesson.
It's a little bit like
it makes sense though.
The students so they don't have to have them again.
Well, yes, but there's a profound lesson. It's one of the most profound ones you'll ever get. Right? Unless you're absolutely so bad that people cannot understand what exactly you're doing, right? You're going to find that people you're going to find that people will give you a good word to move you on. And that's actually really profound. Even with people I don't like, I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that I give them a good word, because I don't want to deal with them again. And let's see if she actually can respond. There she goes again. Okay. We came back for 2, came back for 3. You're moving. Hello?
Hey, I can hear you. Can't see you yet.
Woohoo. So what did you hear up to? Okay, I think we're coming to a point, ladies and gentlemen, where we may have to cut this bad boy short, because we've hit another little moment here. It looks like. Hold on a sec here. Let's see if we can salvage this still. Boom, boom. Nope. Connection is 0 or 10 for her. I'm perfectly there. It looks like we're going to try this one more time here. And if this doesn't work out, we're going to be wrapping this up anyway. But, wow, that was a thing, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we lost out Talena. I had to have her come back at some point. We'll set it. We'll make an arrangement to come back and do this right again somewhere down the road. Sorry, everybody. This was mostly a great chat, and we just really gotten into some stuff that I wanted to talk about with her. And check out Talena Winters, The Undine's Tear. It is a fantastic read. It is one of those books where you definitely will get your money's worth for sure. Outside of that, I'm going to make a few recommendations here, and we'll go from there. And that is, check out my latest release, Alice Zero. I'm going to put the link up here to look at Alice 1, I should say. I'm going to just copy and paste because I'm a trained professional and stuff. But yes. That's my book, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to make sure here that Talena gets some love, because Talena is awesome. Right? I'm going to do that right now. Check out Talena's stuff. And that's it right there. So for everybody watching, listening, support Talena, support myself. I will reschedule Talena so we can do a proper conversation again, with not be weather permitting. And for the rest of you out there, I got another conversation at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Luis Bravo. He is an illustrator about to become to a full-time freelancing career. We're definitely going to do something there. So for everybody watching, everybody listening, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. And I'll see you guys a little bit later today.